Project Hail Mary is directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller and stars Ryan Gosling, Sandra Hüller, I'm sorry if I can't get her name right, and among others. And in this story, it deals with a teacher that's played by Ryan Gosling who awakens in space and doesn't remember he suffers from amnesia, and he ends up having to regain all of his memories and everything while he's on a journey to pretty much save the earth and having to go on a mission along with this creature that he encounters that he names Rocky. And it pretty much does kind of a interesting kind of thing with similar to like one of Christopher Nolan's films, like with Memento and Interstellar, in that as you start to learn more about him and everything, it tries to take a round angle where it's flashing back to his life, who he was before he went into space and everything, as he's slowly picking up the pieces. Now, here's some backstory. Now, this movie was directed by Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, who I've only seen just a couple of their films. I've seen the Lego movies that they did, and also the first 21 Jump Street. Haven't watched a lot of their movies, but I mean, I remember liking the 21 Jump Street movie as far as their live action stuff, but I really do enjoy when they did the Lego movies 1 and 2, and so this is like their very first live action film since, I think, 22 Jump Street, so I was certainly interested in, but I didn't really watch much of the trailers because I heard this was also based on a popular book of the same name. And while I haven't read the book, I did hear that it was very good from what I heard. And I got interested in this because, you know, even though it's based on a book, it's good to see like different type of sci-fi movies that come out that try to, you know, it feels like it would have been something that came back in the 90s, so to speak, with this type of premise, because we were getting a lot of movies like that back in the day when we had movies like Deep Impact, Armageddon, things like that about saving the Earth and everything. So it's definitely unoriginal, but at the same time, just, you know, Ryan Gosling's one of those kind of actors that, you know, I can, whenever it comes to like his big action movies and stuff, like whether it's Blade Runner 2049 or recently with a couple of years ago with Fall Guy and stuff like that, you know, I do enjoy a lot of the stuff that he's done. But I'm not always into, like, I don't watch all of his films because there's some that just don't really appeal to me. But whenever he gets into like these big type of blockbuster or action films over the years, I've gotten really into them and everything. And so going into this, I really enjoyed that whole kind of like, it's like a cross between Castaway and Interstellar if it was all basically started as just one-man crew, so to speak. Plus, it also was giving me vibes of this Adam Sandler movie that came out a couple years ago called Spaceman, which I know that's a completely different film, but in that whole like loner in space stuff that encounters a friend and everything and all that, it was giving me kind of vibes. I didn't fully watch that one, but it just was reminding me of scenes. It was reminding me of that whole kind of premise with it. But after upon seeing it, I really did love this movie a lot. It was everything I wanted to expect out of it. And so to get my pros out of the way, I thought Ryan Gosling was phenomenal. You know, he's always great as usual, and his camaraderie and banter back and forth with his rock friend Rocky, I thought was really touching and funny and very engaging. And I really do like all the little like mirage things that go into when he's trying to show him like how to fish, things like that. Like this little kind of virtual reality kind of room that he's in was definitely one of the highlights for me when he's on the ship. And just a lot of the things that he's teaching him of how to learn like different slangs and stuff and all that. Like something about like there's always something really funny about how Ryan Gosling's comedic timing in all of his movies really work in that regard. You know, and I also really got to really enjoy the production design. Like the way that I heard that they didn't really use much CGI in this, so they were kind of really sticking with a lot of practical effects, which is basically kind of what, you know, a lot of what filmmakers like Christopher Nolan did with Interstellar, and even to some extent I heard with Gravity as well, in that, you know, you're seeing mostly on a actual like real like kind of set and stuff, and while there might probably be some green screen that might be used in some scenes, it was barely noticeable, and a lot of it did really feel real. And a lot of it really has to do with the sound editing as well with this, because not only was it really tying with how there's really no sound when you're hearing in space and stuff, but the classical music, the different musical needle drops that come into play too, I thought were great. And then when we start to learn more about Ryan Gosling's journey with how he got there and everything, that flashbacks, it was really not only, you know, on a touch, it was really engaging on an emotional level, but it also gets into a twist near the end that I didn't really see coming. I was like, wow, I did not expect that to happen. And you kind of, when you find out why he's actually going to how he ends up being in space and everything, it's like, okay, well, it actually makes sense now, you know. And so, like, this movie just really hits me on all grounds with not only being funny at times, but also it really goes into a matter of it's a race against time, where, you know, it can be cliched, and while that can kind of take away some of the essence with it, especially when we get into the third half, because there's also some like twist after twist that you could say could probably kind of move the film back and just not really go for it. But it does have a really great payoff in the end that I think really makes it showcase a lot of what's really accomplished and everything. And so there's more going into detail, but I really don't have much flaws with this one. It's everything I really wanted to see out of it. And so it was one of those that I actually would be interested in reading the book of it just to kind of see like how different the movie captures a lot of stuff. And and also certain things that they may have had to probably like tweak just for the movie and all that. But overall, this was certainly one of the best movies of the year for me. And so with that, I'm going to give it a phenomenal grade on the Film Freaks meter. And so, big update also. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm actually in the process of moving to a new unit. I just wanted to make this clear that with since I'm currently in the process of packing right now, there may be some delays if I'm going to probably be possibly doing any reviews in the future. I haven't decided yet if I'm just going to take a hiatus for now to really, get things together and stuff, because I'm also seeing some big changes coming, so it remains to be seen exactly what I'm doing in the future on the channel. Not saying I'm going to close it out or anything like that, but I may either have to probably take a hiatus from getting things together, or I may actually have to probably at least like take a break from until I actually get everything organized and stuff like that. So if you see less reviews on here, and that's the reason why, is because I'm trying to like really get all the get everything together for my new place I'm going to and stuff. And so we'll see how it goes. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Have a good one.